1. Summer Term A. I was clever. We care about our students' happiness and we care about their success, said our head teacher, Dr. Folian, in front of 400 parents and 6 formers on my Year 12 Summer Term Parents' Evening. It was April. I was 17 and head girl, and I was sitting backstage because it was my turn to speak on stage in 2 minutes. I hadn't planned a speech, and I wasn't nervous. I was very pleased with myself. We considered it our duty to give our young people access to the greatest opportunities on offer in the world today. I managed to become head girl last year because my campaign poster with a picture of me with a doodle chin, also with a double chin. Also, I'd used the word meme in my election speech. This expressed the idea that I didn't give a shit about election, also, even though that the opposite was true, and it made people want to vote for me. You can't say I don't know my audience. Despite this, I was quite sure what I was going to talk about in my parents' evening speech. Folian was saying about everything I scribbled down on the club night flyer I found in my blazer pocket 5 minutes ago. Our Oxford program has been particularly successful this year. I crumpled up that flyer and I dropped it to the floor. Improvisation it was. I improvised speeches before, so it wasn't a big deal, and nobody could ever tell they were improvised anyway. Nobody ever even wondered whether they were. I had a reputation for being organized, always doing homework, having consistently high grades, and having Cambridge University ambitions. My teachers loved me, and my peers envied me. I was clever. I was top student in my year. I was going to Cambridge, and I was going to get a job, and earn lots of money. And I was going to be happy. And I think, said Dr. Folian, that the teaching staff deserved a round of applause as well, and for all of the hard work they've put out this year. The audience clapped, but I saw a few students rolling their eyes. And now I'd like to introduce our head girl, Frances Janver. She pronounced my surname wrong. I could see Daniel Hahn, the head boy, watching me from the opposite side of the stage. Daniel hated me because we were both worthless study machines. Frances had been consistently high achiever since she joined us a few years ago, and it was my absolute honor to have her representing everything we stand for here at the Academy. She'll be talking to you today about her experiences as an Academy 6 former this year, her own plans for the future. I stood up and I walked on stage, and I smiled. I felt fine because I was born for this. The narrator. You're not going to improvise your speech again, are you, Frances? Asked Mom 15 minutes previously. Last time you ended up your seats by giving everyone a thumbs up. She'd been standing with me in the corridor outside the stage entrance. My mom has always loved parents' evening, mostly because she loves the brief, confused stares people make when she introduces herself as my mother. These occur because I'm mixed race, and she's white. And for some reason, most people think I'm Spanish because I did Spanish GCSE last year with a private tutor. She also loved listening to teachers telling me her over and over again what an excellent person I was. I waved the club flyer at her. Excuse me, I'm extremely prepared. Mom plucked it out of my hand and scanned it. These are literally 3 bullet points on this. One of them says, mention the internet. That's all I needed. I'm well practiced in the art of bullshitting. Oh, I know you are. Mom. Oh, I know you are. Mom handed me back the flyer and leaned against the wall. We could just do without another incident where you spent 3 minutes talking about the Game of Thrones. You're not going to let me live that down, are you? No, I shrugged. I've gotten the main points covered. I'm clever. I'm going to university, blah, blah, blah. Grades, successful, happiness. I'm fine. Sometimes I felt like that was all I ever talked about. Being clever was, after all, my primary source of self-esteem. I was a very sad person in all senses of the word, but at least I was going to the university, going to get into university. Mom raised an eyebrow at me. You're making me nervous. I tried to stop thinking about it and instead thought about my evening plans. That evening, I was going to get home and I was going to make a coffee and have a slice of cake. And then I was going to go upstairs and sit on my bed and listen to the latest episode of University. University was a podcast show about a suit-wearing student detective looking for a way to escape a sci-fi monster-infested university. Nobody knew who knew who made the podcast, but it was the voice of the narrator that got me addicted to the show. It was kind of softness. It made me want to fall asleep in the least weird way possible. It was a bit like someone stroking your hair. That was all I was going to do when I get home. You sure you're going to be okay, Mom asked, looking down at me. She always asked me before I had to do public speaking, which was frequently. I'm going to be okay. She untwisted my blazer collar and taped my silver head girl badge with one finger. She asked me, remind me what you wanted to be a head girl? And I said, because I'm great at it. But I was thinking, because universities love it. Dying, but in a good way. I said my piece and I got off stage and took my phone because I hadn't checked it all afternoon. And that's when I saw it. I saw the Twitter message that was about to change my life, possibly forever. I made a startled coffee noise. Sank into my plastic chair and grabbed head boy Daniel Hunn's arm and so hard that he hissed, ow, what? Something monumental has happened to me on Twitter. Daniel had seemed vaguely interested until I said the word Twitter, frowned and wrenched his arm back. He wrinkled his nose and looked away, like I had done something extremely embarrassing. The main thing that you need to know about Daniel Humm is that he probably would have killed himself if he thought I'd get him better grades. To most people, we were exactly the same person. We were both smart and we both were going for Cambridge. And that was all anybody saw. Two shining gods of academia flying high above the school building. The difference between us was that I found out our rivalry absolutely hilarious, whereas Daniel acted as if we were engaging in a war of who could be the biggest nerd. Anyway, two monumental things had happened. Actually, the first was this. University City is now following you. And the second one was a direct message addressed to Toulouse, my online analysis. Direct message with radio. Hi Toulouse. This might sound really weird, but I have done some of the University fan art. But I have seen some of your University City fan art, and I've posted, and I love them so much. I was wondering whether you'd be interested in working with the show to create visuals for University City episodes. I've been trying to find someone with the right style for my show, and I really love yours. University City is not a profit, so I can't exactly pay you. So I totally understand if you want to say no. But you seem like you would really love the show, that you really love the show, and I wondered if you've been interested in you'd get a full credit, obviously. I honestly wish I could pay you, but I don't have any money. I'm a student. Yeah, let me know if I have any money. I'm a student. Yeah, well, let me know if you're interested at all. If not, I still love your drawings, like, a lot. Okay, radio. Turles is the name I go by everywhere online. It's important precaution that I've taken to ensure that even if some extremely unfortunate twist of fate, someone I know in real life finds out any social media, they won't know that it's me. All my usernames, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Snapchat, Vine, are some variation of it. Usually Toulouse, sometimes Toulouse, and it's always taken. And I'm a loser. Go on then, said Daniel with an eye roll. What's happened? Something monumental, I whispered. Yes, I got that. It struck me suddenly that there was absolutely no way I could tell anyone about this. They probably didn't even know what university was, and fan art was a weird hobby. Anyway, they might think that I was secretly drawing porn or something, and they'd all hunt down my Tumblr and read all my personal posts and on there, and everything would be awful. School Bernick and head girl Frances JVR exposed as a fandom freak. I cleared my throat. You want to be interested? Don't worry. Fine then. Daniel shook his head and turned away. University had chosen me to be their artist. I felt like dying, but in a good way. Frances said, a very quiet voice, "Are you okay?" I looked up to find myself face to face with Ella Last, Daniel's best friend. Ella Last always looked like a little child who lost his mom in a supermarket. This way, possibly something to do with how young he looked, how round his eyes were, and how his hair was soft like baby hair. He never seemed to be comfortable in any of his clothes that he wore. He didn't go to our school. He went to an all-boys grammar school on the other side of town, and though he was only 3 months older than me, he was in a school year above. And most people knew how he became of Daniel. I knew how he was because he lived opposite to me, and I used to be friends with his twin sister, and we took the same train to school. Even though we sat in different carriages and didn't talk to each other, Al Last was standing next to Daniel, gazing down at me, where I was sitting hyperventilating in the chair, and he cringed a little forward, and followed up, sorry, you just look like you were about to be sick or something. I attempted to say a sentence without bursting into hysterical laughter. I'm fine, I said, but I was grinning and probably looked like I was about to murder someone. Why are you here? Daniel's support. According to the rumor, Aled and Daniel have been inseparable their whole lives. But despite the fact that Daniel was an uppity, an opinionated dickhead, and Aled spoke maybe 50 words per day. Oh no, he said, and his voice almost got too quiet, as he looked terrified. Dr. Offline wanted to give a speech about university. I stared at him. But you don't even go to our school. No. So what's up with that? It was Mr. Schussman's idea. Mr. Schussman was the head teacher of Aled's school. Something about camaraderie between our schools. One of my friends was supposed to be doing this, actually. He was our head boy last year. busy. So he asked me if I'd do it. Yeah. Alad's voice gradually got quieter, as if he was speaking almost like he didn't think I was actually listening to him, despite the fact that I was looking right at him. And so you said yes. I said, yes. Why? Alad just laughing. He was visibly quaking because he was a turnip, said Daniel, folding his arms. Yes, Alad murmured, but he was smiling. You don't have to do it, I said. I could tell them you're sick and everything will be fine. I sort of have to do it, he said. You don't really have to do anything if you don't want to, I said. But I knew that wasn't true. And so did Alad. Because he just started laughing at me and shook his head. We didn't say anything else. Apollyon was on stage again. And now I'd like to welcome Alad last, one of the boys' schools, wonderful year 13s who will be setting off to one of the UK's most prestigious universities in September. Well, if his A-levels go to plan anyway. All in the parents laughed at this. Daniel and Alad and I did not. Arflin and the parents started to clap, and as Alad walked out onto stage. He approached the microphone. I had done it 1,000 times, and I always got the little stomach flip beforehand. But watching Alad do it, then somehow 3 billion times worse. I hadn't really spoken to Alad properly before. I knew next to know nothing about him. Hi. Yeah, he said, his voice sounding like he just stopped crying. I didn't realize he was this shy. I whispered at Daniel, but Daniel didn't say anything. So last year I had an interview. Daniel and I watched him struggle through his speech. Daniel, a practiced public speaker like myself, occasionally shook his head. At one point, he said he should have said no for fuck's sake. I didn't really like watching, so I sat back in the chair for the second half of it and then read Twitter messages 50 times over. So I tried to switch my mind off and focus on university and the message. Radio had like my art. Stupid little sketches of the characters, weird line drawings, 3 a.m. doodles, in my 99p sketchbook instead of finishing my history essay. Nothing like this has ever happened to me, ever. When Alad walked off stage and joined us again, I said, well done, that was really good, even though we both knew I was lying. He met my eyes. He had dark blue circles underneath them. Maybe he was a night owl like me. Thanks, he said, and then walked away. And I thought that that'd be the probably last time I ever saw him.